8:34 Central African time. You're still tuned into News and Views with myself, Salailo Makudi. We're going to be moving on now to the South African Police Services and the leadership crisis that is surrounding suspended National Police Commissioner General Masemola. The South African Police Union, SAPU, they're essentially calling on President Cyril Ramaphosa to reinstate Masemola, putting the president under pressure over the decision to suspend the police commissioner. This comes at a very, shall we say, particularly sensitive time for the South African police services, with South Africans already questioning police leadership, accountability, and just generally the country's ability to deal with organized crime and corruption. And I think the Madlanga Commission has put a lot into perspective into that front. So we're going to be asking the question this morning: why does SAPU believe Masemola should return? What does his suspension mean for morale inside the police services? And is the union asking the president to make a political decision, or one that is based on the interests of policing? And joining us now is SAPU spokesperson Lesiba Thobakgale. Lesiba, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Good morning to you, Salailo, and your listeners. Thank you for having us.
Pleasure's all ours. I want to kickstart the conversation with the fundamental question: why does SAPU want President Ramaphosa to reinstate General Fani Masemola?
Salailo, we are making this call as SAPU, informed by the fact that when we look at the testimony which was given at the Madlanga Commission by IDEC, in the main, when we are looking at Advocate Ramsamy, it becomes clear to us that how IDEC is handling these issues of senior managers in SAPS, it is really found to be wanting. And based on that, we are of the view that it doesn't seem to be that IDEC really does have a strong case against the National Commissioner. That is why our call to the president, that the president must reinstate General Masemola, is clearly informed by those testimonies we have heard from Madlanga Commission. But we also are not just in isolation making this call. The NPA is playing a very critical role because they are the ones who must prosecute if indeed there's a prima facie case against somebody. And in this regard, we are also making a call to Advocate Mothibi that he must, like he promised the nation during the media briefing, which was held a few weeks back, that they are also reviewing the case of General Masemola, to say if they have not finalized, they must finalize that review and brief the nation and take the nation into confidence in terms of whether is there a case that the National Commissioner must face, or they are going to withdraw charges against the National Commissioner. Advocate Mothibi, in this regard, his leadership will play a very critical role in the call that we are also making. But looking into what you said earlier in your opening remarks, when we look at the state of affairs in SAPS, it is concerning to us as SAPU that we've got so many deputy national commissioners who are suspended. We only have one who is permanently appointed as we speak now, whom even her fate, we don't know whether it is hanging on the balance or what's going to happen. And that is worrisome because it really shows that the center is not holding. As the acting national commissioner continues to suspend her deputies and even other senior managers outside the disciplinary regulations of 2016, it remains to be considered that if she's able to break the law and it looks like it is business as usual, we cannot allow that. Because in terms of those regulations we referred to, an employee can be suspended not for a period exceeding 60 days. 60 days when passed and they are just being told to stay at home. That is illegal in nature. And it looks like it has become a norm for her to do that. And as a union, we are making a call to say that is wrong in law. And there's no way where one can challenge that and she happens to win out of it because it is unlawful. So we are making a call to say, since 60 days went by, she must return them back to work, those who are suspended. And if she still wants to take actions against them, she can do it internally. And suspension is not the only remedy when it comes to where you want to deal with any evidence, or maybe thinking that somebody might tamper with witnesses or might tamper with evidence. You can temporarily transfer somebody to somewhere, But she hasn't even looked at that. But it also looks punitive to us. That is why we are making a call that we want to see the center holding in this regard, clearly by bringing them back and follow the disciplinary regulations if there's still cases that they want to answer. But let me also touch on the reset agenda that is being embarked on by the acting police minister. It also becomes problem with acting everywhere. It is worrisome to us in this regard, because in terms of the deputy national commissioners, everyone is acting there since they are suspended in the main. In terms of the reset agenda, we want to say that what is being reset? How do you reset SAPS if you do not have the national commissioner back at his position? If you do not have the deputy national commissioners back at his position? We are saying that we supported the reset agenda, and we still support it, because even before it was based, it was introduced by the acting police minister, we had said for the longest time that there are things that needs to be reset in SAPS. So to us, it is not a new phenomenon. We've been on it and we still support it, but we don't think now it is the right time. Let us resolve the issues of the national commissioner coming back to work. Let us resolve the issues of the deputy national commissioners and all of those who are suspended illegally, and then we can talk about the reset agenda. Remember, SAPS it is a militarized organization. The rank and file is important, and I'm glad you touched on that part when you opened in your opening statement. It is important because where there is stability in the national leadership, or when it comes to the high rank and file in SAPS, then it becomes easier for the members to follow. SAPS works on instructions. The issues of rank and file, they are important. So currently, it is unfortunate that the center is not holding. That is why SAPU is making this call to say the president, firstly, Advocate Mwiti must pronounce himself on it, and also we are making the call to the president to say, before it is too late, this matter needs to be resolved.
I want to ask a question that I think most South Africans are probably asking themselves. The impact of Masemola's suspension, has it had any kind of impact on the SAPS and the morale of the officers and the institution itself and the general functioning of the police services? Because one might argue that, well, South Africans are really less interested in the personalities at the top and are more interested in whether they are safe. So is this leadership dispute affecting the ability of the police officers to do their jobs in any way?
Definitely, the morale of the police is clearly affected. I think it must not be washed down in any way. It is affected, more especially if there is no stability when we look at the leadership. Like we highlighted, that even the constable or the sergeants, warrant officers, the captains who are on the ground, whatever is happening at the national level, it does affect them. That is why stability in the leadership, it is important, because it brings continuity. It brings, that confidence to say, as they are doing their job at the ground level, patrolling those streets, as they are attending to the members of the community in our community service center, if they know that there is stability at the top or at the national office, being it even at the provincial level, then it really gives them confidence to do what they are supposed to do. Members are not supposed to be, not sure. They're not supposed to see any form of instability, because they should not be sitting and asking themselves, so what is next? What is going to happen next? So the issue of leadership, it is important because it really touches on continuity in terms of where, during the time of the national commissioner serving, to say what are the things that he or she would have pronounced, to say these are the matters that I would want to prioritize, be it promotions, be it anything in terms of resources and this and this and that. Members are looking at what the leader has confirmed, to say they will deal with up until they reach their term, to say they would have then finalized those issues. So it really affects the morale, and also it goes to those whom are sitting at the board of commissioners as well, whom in the main it will be divisional commissioners and your provincial commissioners. They also want to be steered in the right direction. But where we see someone who's steering them is able to go and break the law and doesn't even feel guilty about it, say, what does it do to them who are the board of commissioners at that higher level. And what more of those who are on the ground? I mean, it is common cause. You cannot break the law and act like you did not break the law. The law is the law. It must be respected by anyone. That is why we want to reiterate our call to say General Masemola must come and finish what he has started up until the end of his term in this regard. As we see, IDEC, indeed, we really have doubts in terms of whether they did have a case or they are just running through the factions within SAPS. Those factions, they exist, and we must mention that, and we know that they do exist. But factionalism must not prevail here in SAPS. We need to really make sure that the interests of the members of SAPS and the interests of our communities are the ones that are being prioritized.
No, most definitely. Lesiba Thobakgale, spokesperson of South African Police Union. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you after this.
We work hard.